Hello everyone, this is Judy at Peanut Book Company. I hope you all are doing well. I am so excited. I finally finished a fall journal that I've been working on for a little while. I really wanted it to be done last week, but my time has been so constrained lately with my full-time job. But I'm so glad that I was able to get this finished. I had so much fun working on it. It is a fall themed journal. This is a clip art that I got off of Etsy. I'll try to remember to put the link to this lady's shop. She does such wonderful watercolor work. This is kind of like a little cabinet card that was covered in fabric, and I put the image on the cover. It has little metal book corners on the book, a little bit of lace and some type of jute type trim. It has a hitching post and an elastic to keep it together. I'm going to include with this purchase some extra elastics. I don't think anything will happen to that one, but you never know. I always like to be prepared. This book measures approximately 5.5 inches wide by 8.5 inches long by 1 inch deep. It has 4 signatures. It is a hollow back spine. There's approximately 132 pages, counting the front and back of the pages. So let's get started. I'll do a quick flip through of it. I'll try not to get too chatty. I just enjoyed the papers that I used in this book, the pattern papers and all the other papers. I made these library cards myself, and just thought that looked really good. Kind of went with my color theme, and made a little library card pocket. And this is a silk leaf. I don't think it's really silk, but you know, artificial leaf. And I had to use spray adhesive to adhere it to a book page. And then I did a little fussy cutting and a little distress around the edges, and then glued it on to the front. You can definitely say this is a fall journal. I use these paint chip cards on the book, on each signature for the tabs, and I put little dangles on each one. And I don't know if I'm able to show you this, but each dangle has a little piece of hardware that came out of a watch. And I did that on purpose. Some of them are really small, because you know, when the fall comes, we're used to our time changing and it gets darker. So it's a season where time changes also. And I just thought that was kind of cool to put a little clock piece on the edge. I have a little tin full of the guts of a bunch of watches that I decided to take apart one day for fun. Old watches, by the way. All right, let's look at the first signature. It has a pretty dangle. This is a little pocket that's made out of an index card. Just a little decoration, little washi tape, some stamping, some stenciling, little word to make it look pretty. I'll put that back on in a minute. And then I have some tea-dyed papers with a little stenciling. One of my favorite papers on the planet is ledger paper. I probably have about 5 or 6 different types in my stash. And I think this one I actually lightly tea-dyed it, and it made it feel nice and crunchy. This was a book page that I had glued a napkin on it, and just decided to do that. And this book's got a few fall images in there that I got out of different magazines. This was some parchment paper that I adhered to the book page as well. This is some really old children's writing paper. I found it at a thrift store one day, and it was a huge stack. Might have been about 500 sheets. And you could tell from the package that it was really old. And I included in each signature something that I actually like to do in smaller journals that I make. So I decided to do it on this one, is I put in a piece of fabric, just something pretty to look at and to feel. And I've actually had this fabric, oh my goodness, probably for 15 years or more. And I've used it for so many different things. But as you can see, it's a bit see-through. And legal paper. This was actually some wrapping paper that I had with little Woodlands characters. I love this paper so much. And we have, I had these copper colored envelopes, and I made a pocket on this side and a pocket on this side, and a little journaling card that has lace glued to the card and some fabric, and another little journaling card inside of it. And on top of the copper colored envelopes, I fussy cutted some images out of some fall fabric and glued them on. And this has just a little simple journaling card that you could use on both sides. And that's the other side of that beautiful Woodlands paper and the fabric. That's the other side of the book page, and another fall image and a napkin. This one says, "Listen to the laughter." And at the end of the signature, I have another card, index card that I made into a pocket. And signature number 2, I took a book page and sewed some scrapbook paper onto it. And this one has a pretty little dangle as well. And made this one fold out. And what you have here is a tag over here. This came with the actual paper pack, one of them that I was using, and I just love them so much. And it has another pocket right here, and I fussy cut this out of a book that I had. Just gorgeous illustrations of food. And this is just a little envelope that you can use to store some goodies in. More tea-dyed paper. This was from a journal. This is some old coloring book pages. It's really thick and it has a really cool texture. I found this somewhere, and I think it was probably one of the first coloring books that came out when they started making them. And I have this lovely fabric here. I just love this fabric. This is some parchment paper. This was my experiment earlier this year by dyeing paper with, you know, those Easter egg dye kits. And you put the little tablets in these little cups with vinegar and water, and you dye eggs. Well, I decided to try a kit with paper, and the kit was probably about 10 years old. And I got some of the coolest pastel papers out of it, so I decided to put one of them in here. And this is another really pretty image out of a book. This is not a copy. These are the actual pages out of another book. And on each side, I put a journaling card with some stamping. And that cute little mouse. I've got a couple of stamps with that little mouse on it. And then here's another one. There we go. And the back side of all those pages. I must note that this journal does have a lot of writing space. I fully believe when you make journals like this, just my take on it, and what I like to do is to provide a lot of writing space, as well as pretty things to touch and feel and look at, and places to put memories and little snippets of things. Some more tea-dyed paper, and that's the back side of the folder, with another tag and another little envelope with some fabric fussy cutting and some more fussy cutting out of the book on the back side. And this book also has plenty of room to expound on. I mean, you can decorate even more than I have. There's room. Another little dangle here with some buttons and beads and a piece of the clock wheel with some of the string coming out from it. And this is actually a photograph that I took of a cardinal, and I think I still have a little piece of glue right here. Yeah, I'll get that in a minute. And I had a program that would do kaleidoscopes out of your photos, and I dug them out looking through there for some inspiration, and I thought, I'm gonna make a little tuck spot out of one of them. This is a photo of Peanut the cat, and I put a little note on the back about this book, a little note from me to whoever purchases it. But Peanut, he's one of the reasons why I named my company Peanut Book Company. He was my beloved cat. I had him for 17 years. He passed away in March, right when the COVID crisis started. He was a great cat, and somehow through time, I started calling my daughter Peanut, and even now she's a grown woman with kids, and I still call her that sometime. And I found out that she calls her one of her daughters Peanut also. So I thought, what better way to honor her family and and my cat than to call my company that. So that's one of my favorite pictures I took of Peanut. I was a photographer for a long time, and I have tons of photos that I've taken, and I've decided that in the future I was going to start incorporating more of my photos in my books. This is a little quote from Jane Austen out of an address book. A person who can write a long letter with ease cannot write ill. I just love that. Some old music paper. You can't see too good in the picture, but this is some old grid paper. Green notebook paper. I don't know what it is about the color green. I like green ledger paper, green notebook paper. And this is a piece of muslin to go into this signature, because every signature's got a piece of fabric in it. This is out of a watercolor book that I've got. This lady is amazing, and when I saw that she had a page of oranges, I said, that's got to go in here. And this just has a couple of pieces from some fabric that I had that I sewed on, because I really liked it. And it's the back side of that signature. And there's the other side where I have a tuck spot with that kaleidoscope photo of mine. And this is a postcard. I got a box of postcards from the New York Botanical Garden a while back. And they're just so gorgeous. And I sewed around that one. I sewed around the cardinal tuck spot as well. And I believe this is the last signature. Little dangle there. This came from some wrapping paper that I had, a wrapping paper book that I've got. And I just love this little guy. I've got about 5 of these moose cards. And I just love the colors in there. And he just reminds me of fall. So he's in the book. This is an old book page from a book about South Carolina back roads, and I found it in a thrift shop one day. And I love the feel of this paper and the illustrations. There's some fall fabric in this signature. Notebook paper. This came out of a Victorian flower garden book. Awesome photos. And this came out of another, it was one of those botanical diaries that people do. Can't remember the name of it right now, but it has the most beautiful little photos. So there's plenty of journaling space on this. And I pulled out September, hoping that somebody would purchase this in September. You could use this as your fall journal. August, September, October, November. There's plenty of room to last you for the entire fall season. This is a little seed envelope, and inside I have a real pretty picture and a journaling space on the back. Just a little bit of washi tape and a sticker on there. Very simple. That picture right there is just gorgeous. Oh, I just love illustrations of animals and flowers. And the back side of the Victorian botanical book. And the back side of that beautiful fabric. And on the end of the signature, I decided to provide some pumpkin seeds. Might be too late to plant them this year, but if you put them in your refrigerator, you can plant them next year. Not sure what a good time of the year it is to plant these. I don't think it says. And I got these horse playing cards from Paper Harbor Company off of Instagram. I just fell in love with them. I love the colors of this card, so I figured I'd put one in this book. And the back of the book is blank. If you want to add pockets or whatever, you can. I made a pencil board. I made one for the first journal that I created. That's still in my Etsy shop, hint, hint. And I thought I would just make one for each journal that I make because I really enjoy doing it. I heard about these pencil boards earlier this year, and there was a company from Japan that was making plastic ones that you could buy just about any different size to put in your books. And what they're good for is, like, example, this page has got an envelope on it, and it may make it hard to write on this side because of all the bumps. So you just put that on there and you have a smooth writing surface. And I wanted to make it pretty. I love this paper. It was from another wrapping paper book that I've got. To follow through with the fall theme, I put another silk flower on a book page and then glued it onto here. And normally when people make these, they're really thick, which is good because then they won't bend. But this one is pliable, but I wanted it thin, but sturdy enough that you could use it, but I wanted it thin enough so that I could put it in the back of the book without it bulking up the book anymore. So there you go. This is my fall journal. Like I said, I had so much fun making it. Included with this, I made a notebook, and I wonder if you noticed anything silly. No, it's not the owl. Normally when I make a notebook, I will put the word notes up there, but instead I put music notes. You get it? Notes, notebook, ha 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 ha. Anyway, and then this has just got some offcuts from the book that I made. Oh, here's a stray piece. And just a few other pretty pages. Another piece of fabric. And just lovely. I put some, this is some Tim Holtz fabric tape. The tape is made out of fabric. And put that on there to hide the little closure on this pin here. So that's going to be included in the book, with the book as well. Also, I used to make these years ago. I used to make handmade book covers that people could put their paperback books in. And I would make a matching bookmark to go with each book. And so I made this lovely bookmark, and all of the findings on here came out of my stash of junk jewelry. I have tons of it. Many years ago, I was also a junk jewelry artist where I made very large, 2 foot by 2 foot pictures using junk jewelry as the medium, and I actually won a couple of awards for that. I haven't done it in a while, but I still have all the junk jewelry left over, and there's a lot of it. And I have a bag that the journal is going to come in, a very simple cotton bag with a drawstring tie and some pretty beads. And this little dangle is some wild, little teeny tiny wildflowers I picked earlier this year. Preserved them, well, dried them, and then put them in this little coin holder. That's going on the front. But this bag has a story also. I used to make fabric gift bags like crazy. And whenever I would give family members a gift, I would give it in a gift bag. And one year, I did all my Christmas giving in gift bags. Christmas fabrics like crazy. And I made all kinds of different sizes ahead of time. And that way I had a bag for everything. And it kept me very busy through a hard time in my life at that time, and I just went crazy on making fabric bags. So I looked in my stash of fabric bags, and I found this one, and I thought it would go very nicely with this book. The cool thing about these is when I gave gifts to family members, especially Christmas, they would give me the bags back, and I would reuse them the next year. So anyway, there you have it. That's my fall journal. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, I would please love for you to. I'm trying to build up my YouTube presence and my Instagram presence. I almost have 100 followers on Instagram now. I'm so happy about that. Really, really nice people. And this will be available in my Etsy shop by the time I list this. And I hope you all have a very good evening. And if you have any questions about this book, just let me know. Thank you.